Hi everyone, it's your boy Sean. Welcome back to another Summoner Sword video. Today I bring you guys the second interview with Steve, the one who owns the beginner account that has the progression that blew everyone's mind away. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check the description. I'll link the previous interview and you guys will be blown away by his account progression after 57 days. Also, I received a lot of comments. He himself received a lot of comments about how he can get so many Devilmons in 57 days. I think it was 23 Devilmons. I'll leave a link to the Reddit post that explain every single Devilmon and how he got it. So if you're curious about how he got his Devilmons, read the Reddit post as well. In today's video, we talk about Reap farming, some EXP guide, some arena defense tip, and some summon at the end. I'll catch you guys inside the interview. The last time we looked at this was at 57 days, right?
Yeah.
Today is 79th day. So that is around a month after this. Almost, not really a month, almost a month after this. So do me a quick update on what has changed. And
yeah. So basically last time we talked I had just gotten into dragons. I had kind of goofed around in Necro a little bit. And what I was aiming for actually, and I've started to do fairly well, is Reap farming. So basically, my in the way I look at progression, and I know not everyone agrees with this, and that's okay. You know, people that have different opinions.
So Reap farming at 79 days. Okay, guys, Reap farming.
Right. Yeah. Well, in the way I look at progression, I really prioritize everything that's time gated. So meaning all the things that you can only get X amount of them every week, every month, right? So Devilmon and Reaps would be the biggest.
Because the moment you missed it, you missed it forever, right?
Exactly, yeah. Okay. And so kind of the way I look at it is, I can always keep farming more runes, and I'm still rune farming, right? Like there's absolutely no way I can do this without having spent a ton of time in both G10 and D10, right? But the way I look at it is like, okay, 2 years from now, hopefully I'm still playing and still enjoying it as much as I am. But when I look back, what I'm really going to regret is not getting every little Devilmon and Reap I could. Right now, in the short term, it doesn't feel as important as just like general rune quality. But I think in the long term, I think that actually will make the biggest difference. So that's been what I really pushed, was I pushed as far as I could in Trial of Ascension hard, and I got to a chroma, and unfortunately, even with my little 4-star Garo, I couldn't get past him.
No way!
I hit a hard ceiling for my rune quality.
How come? I thought a no rune Garo can pass that stage. I mean, a vampire
he can,
or something like that.
In theory. He can in theory. Yeah, in practice, it's hard. It's hard early on to kill the Zyros fast enough. To leave it. I mean, basically, what would happen is it would be hard enough to get through the waves to get there when I dropped one of my core members for Garo. And then when I did get there, basically the Achromas would wipe my team before I could kill the Zyros.
I see.
And then Garo would usually last a few turns, but inevitably Rain of Fire gets him. So
so maybe if it's not at 86, but it's like 56, you may do it easily.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think absolutely. Yeah. But anyway, I think it was a combination of things, and I think, frankly, I hit a hard ceiling for my root quality. I think that's the truth.
So you don't think you can finish TOA hard?
Oh, I think I will.
Well, I say not this rotation with the Achroma.
2 or 3 days, yeah. Once it rotates, I'm very confident I can actually, once I get without the Achromas in play, because basically my best team I just run. I've told you before, but a no healer comp. So I'm just denying enemies turns, and I'm really good at that. And generally, things never get a turn, or the entire round, I might get one turn. The Achromas were just kind of an exception to that rule, obviously. So,
all right. But go back to Reap farming, right? You are at a stage where you have very limited crystal because you are not spending anything beside a growth pack, so your crystal is pretty limited. Why are you farming Reap and not runes? Because in theory, you shouldn't have enough or like legend runes to Reap even. Why are you wasting time here?
Well, right. And so the way I look at it is like, is the way you would snipe a Devilmon even though you don't have a Mon to use it on yet. You would kind of just put it in your storage and hold it. And that's the way I look at reapps. It's true that I don't have a lot of legendary bios yet in particular, which is what I would mainly use them on. I do have a few other slot 4 and 6 legendaries at this point, and I have started using.
Is this from farming?
Yeah, this is from farming. Absolutely.
Okay.
Believe it or not, they happen, and I.
what is one rune in specific? Like violent something or what?
Well,
What are you reapping even?
Well, I'll show you. So
what rune is that?
one of the reapps I used. This was actually my very first reapp I got off an event, but I actually used that. If you look at Azir slot 4, that's
the crit damage blade rune.
Yeah, that's actually a rune I'm very happy with.
Oh yeah, this is a beast of a rune, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. And that was the result of my very first reapp actually, but that was, there was one event that gave me a reapp. I wasn't actually reapp farming at that time, but I got really lucky. And I've used a few of my other reapps and haven't gotten as lucky. But
so what's your current reapp project?
My current reapp project?
Yeah, there should be one role that you're trying, right?
Oh, see, that's actually not the way I look at it.
Oh, really?
I have, so I kind of, what I do is I farm up, I farm the reapps first, and then at the end of the week, once I got my reapps, then I kind of look at what my runes are at that point, because that, 1 week, actually, your runes change a little bit. And so I actually couldn't even tell you off the top of my head what I would use them on yet. But I have no doubt either I'll use them. If I don't use them soon, then I'll just hold them for later. It's that simple. But yeah, so I think it's, to kind of summarize a little bit, I think it's just a difference of like short-term mentality versus long-term mentality. I think in the long term, I think reapp farm is very worthwhile. But I can see in the short term why a lot of people.
But how do you balance farming runes and farming reapps? Because you only have that much energy anyway, and it's gonna take forever for you to finish farming 3 reapps, right?
It's not bad. It's not bad actually.
Like, how do you decide? Okay, today I'm gonna farm reapps. Today I'm gonna farm runes. Like, how do you look at it?
Well, what I do is in the beginning of the week, I farm the reapps. You only get 3 reapps a week, right?
So you farm reapp and then you farm runes.
So I farm 3 reapps, and in the meantime, I'm making sure to do whatever events are on the table, right? Because sometimes you get events that tell you to go into Kairos dungeon, and so I'm never missing those events. That's really important. In fact, I mean that's like a major source of crystals for like a free to play guy. But yeah, aside from the events, I'll get my reapps done first, and then the rest of the week I'll just spend farming runes. It usually takes about, I don't know, 3 days to get the reapps done. It's not bad actually. See, basically you.
But have you done the math on the mana return on farming reapps? How does it compare to farming runes since you have less stuff? Right.
So, and it's a hard question. Okay, so I don't want to sell this question short. Now I'll give you my thoughts on it, but I do want to say, basically, if you were to use a reapp on a high value slot 4 or 6 room,
high value as in
high value, usually as in like Vio or Will is what most players value. In theory, if you might have a different box and other runes could be more valuable to you.
Not Swift. I prioritize Surf and Violin. Oh yeah, but yeah.
Swift, yeah. But anyway, whatever is high value for your circumstances, in theory, the math comes out to be about every legendary rune slot 4 or 6 of a favored set is about 16,000 energy worth of farming.
16,000 energy worth of farming for one legendary.
One legendary slot 4 or 6 of a favorite.
So that's the math. Okay, that's like hard math.
Yeah, that's basically. Now, that doesn't take into account, all the other things that go into farming, right? The other stuff you're getting, but
like
if you
mana,
just look at
rainbow mons, mystical scroll, whatever.
Right. And so I can tell you that the amount of energy it takes to get one reapp is nowhere near that.
Really?
Even if you're just, let's say,
you are doing like A on or B on the other stuff, right? Like for you right now.
So I'm at a point where I get my pure crystals from one rift, only one rift.
The fire one,
fire
right?
rift. It's fire rift at the moment, yeah. And I end up when I can guarantee an S if I manual it. But for the most part, I just auto it and I get an A+. That's kind of how it works out. And I usually get, I got to look at the table again. I usually get about 3, I think, pure crystals, 2 to 3 per Fire Rift run. So if you could imagine, all right, if it takes 50 pure crystals for 1 re-app, you want 3 re-apps, then in that case, you got pretty much 50 Fire Rift runs in a week. And then you need an additional 30 of the other elements for each re-app. And the thing about that is they're really, really easy to get the other elements. Okay, even if you're only at like B+, all right, you're getting, I usually get around, I believe, 4 per run at B+. And so you could imagine it only takes 6 of each of those rifts per re-app, or 7, around there. But bottom line, you know, it doesn't take more, I think, than like 100 runs total overall in rifts to do the 3 re-apps.
So it takes you about 3 days.
Yeah, about 3 days. Yeah. So it's an investment, right? It's the only way to look at it. It's not like short-term. It's a short-term reward, but it is, I think, rewarding in the long term. Or I think it will be when I get more runes like that slot 4 blade rune you saw. So anyway, so that's one of my main projects. I basically, the reason I'm so low on crystals is I pushed TOA hard just a few days ago, and you know, had like 700 crystals or something. I wanted to do something fun before we did our next video, and so I said, all right, I want to build my twins because I've been putting that off forever.
So what are you using your twins in? I run dragons and giants. There's not a single twins here.
Right. So I'm using my twins right now.
I know the fire one is in the fire beast. I just run it.
Right. Yeah. So I pretty much just made them for the Fire Rift, and they have kind of leftover runes on right now. They're not where I'd like them to be. Particularly, I need to get Maruna stronger to really be able to one-hit clear the minions. Because right now she can only do like most of them, and then Lapis has to take the leftovers. So, but yeah, my hope is to really keep focusing on Fire Rift and push that to, you know, hopefully a consistent S on auto, and maybe double S if I'm lucky, and then actually slowly, believe it or not, transition to the Dark Rift, because I have a box full of a lot of multi-hitters. And I'm not positive yet exactly what I'm going to use. I'm likely going to use, obviously, the 2 twins and a combination of other things. But ideally, I would end up farming my pure crystals from the Dark Rift. Just go to Fire, Wind, and Water just as much as necessary to get the re-apps done. But slowly, I want to work on an LD homie in the very long run. So.
Okay, so last time we talked about Veramos, right? And you were like, I'm kind of doing it my way. People can do Veramos if they want to. It's just my way. I think it's more challenging and fun. What about re-app? Do you think it's a must that people need to pay close attention to re-app right now, whatever stages they are in the game, to try and get that Tamgate resources? Like, I know there are tons of people are like, oh, I'm doing like A+, maybe just screw re-app, whatever. Just farm runes for mana. And
the thing about it's a little bit different than Veramos, I think. Okay, like Veramos is for the most part a pretty short-term decision that might help you, might hurt you, depends on your playstyle and your box. Maybe I'm not going to make too many more arguments about that right now, but re-app is definitely a long-term choice. Okay, so the proper analogy again would be kind of someone pushing towards Trial of Ascension Hard 70 a little earlier when they might otherwise be rune farming, right? And yeah, because that Devilmon, later down the line, each of those Devilmon just feels so much more important. But in the beginning, when you only have one Nat 5, Devilmon don't seem as exciting. So it's all about, I think, long-term mentality versus short-term. You don't want to push people too far to the long-term, because sometimes they start to not enjoy the game, and then they just stop playing. That's
like shit. This thing's so grindy, man. I hate this.
That's right. Exactly. Well, that's the real risk of, you know, thinking only in terms of long term is, you know, there are certainly some people who would just get burnt out and stop enjoying it. So I think in purely in terms of efficiency in the long term, I would say thinking in terms of long term will ultimately, of course, yield better returns. But it's a game, and you got to enjoy it somehow. So I'm not gonna tell everyone they have to start re-up farming as early as I am. I will say I think there's an advantage to be gained for some who haven't thought about it. That's all.
So I noticed that people commenting about the fact that you 6-star pretty much every single week. How do you have enough crystals and double XPs and to make 6-star so fast and still have runes that are like outstanding for an account that's so young?
Right.
How was that possible?
Yeah, people simply don't believe. The truth is that people simply don't believe I'm free to play, no matter what I say.
Nah, man, this guy will.
At a certain point, you just stop trying to argue about it. But there are some tips I can give for 6-star units.
Okay, which is?
And I think in talking with like some guildmates and some newer players, there's a lot of little things I do that a lot of people don't even think of, or just doesn't occur to them. And maybe just spending a few minutes talking about that would be helpful. So first of all, I think everyone should build Lapis. That's not entirely new. Most people know that.
Build Lapis,
at this point, there's still some like
best farmer in the game
there who are like, Lapis is a new farmer. No, Lapis is incredible unit.
Lapis
incredible
is
farmer,
so
incredible
good.
For TOA, incredible for Fire Rift. Like, Lapis is just an outstanding A+.
She has a self-healing skill with the 3rd skill.
Exactly.
You don't even need vampire in this girl.
She can even front line. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, the setup I have for her right now, it clears Fayman reliably. It's not as fast. My fastest clear with her is 23 seconds in Fayman. And she doesn't do that every time. Normally she's like somewhere in like now at this point the 40-second range. I have to drop her back to spread up my rune quality. But it doesn't take much to make her a very strong, reliable farmer once you have some basic G10 runes. So that's kind of first tip is there's no reason to
not do Lapis.
No reason to ditch Lapis. Seriously. Okay. She is like come to us as gift to you. Next tip is the way people use reps. Okay, so I use all my reps every day regardless of whether or not I have an XP boost.
Really?
Every day.
Why?
No question. Okay? Because
I don't even know that.
Here's the way I use reps that I think is a little different is I use them to solo level mons, right? So the thing about a rep is when they take
what again? Solo what?
I use reps to solo level particular monsters.
Solo.
What I mean by that is I put a rep in and I put one other monster in that I want to level. And that monster gets all 4 spots worth of XP.
Why not just put 3? Right. What's wrong with 3?
Because here's the thing. Sometimes you run out of fodder, right? And you can't. And if you don't have reps to use, you're stuck because you use Lapis, and then if you don't fill all 3 spots, you actually lose XP, right? But with a rep, all right, because it doesn't occupy a spot, you can just put one other mon in there, and it gets all 4 spots worth of XP. So this is really, really useful when you've just 6-starred something. 50 straight rep runs, okay? 1 double XP in Fayman will take a 6-starred monster from level 1 to level 38 exactly. Really? So like really? Oh, really? Okay. So 50 rep runs on double XP in Fayman. We'll take a newly 6-starred monster from level 1 to level 38. So that in particular I find is really useful because what happens is frequently getting that 6-star, you use like all your fodder and you have nothing left by the time you actually 6-star one. And then at that point you can use your reps because you don't have to fill other spots with fodder. So it allows you on one level. I think it allows you to manage your fodder better, learning how to use reps intelligently, and it allows you to really, I think, focus specific monsters to level. That's the way I find it to be most useful.
But what's the point of doing reps every day without double XP?
Because
50 runs is 250 energies, right? Then you could have gotten...
Basically, the way you can look at it is... Well, so the way you can look at it is essentially it's boosting your XP by about 25%. Because Lapis isn't taking up a spot, so 1 out of 4 spots is actually being used in a way that's worthwhile. So effectively, every monster is getting 25% more XP, or it's getting.
I think let's put it this way. I think reps is also a time gate resources, because when you go past that day, it's gone, and a rep
That's
means 25% EXP boost. It's not double, but it's still boost, and it's time gate because the next day is gone. So the fact that you're doing it every day means you're not wasting that extra a little bit EXP. And when you're early game, especially the first, let's say, 3 weeks, you're not doing Giants B10, so your runes that you get from Giants are pretty trash anyway. So might as well get more EXP and not waste the energy in like Giants B6, you know?
I mean, honestly, there are some days where I only use like 30 or 40 reps. I don't want to like say I'm really, really hard-lined on making sure to use every single one when I don't have an XP booster. But what I usually do is I just look at my box. And if I have a decent amount of fodder, let's say I have a lot of 2-stars or something, then I'll level 1 or 2 2-stars at a time and then evolve them, and just almost just a mentality, just like cleaning up my box without wasting it. And that kind of, it seems like it's kept the right pace for me. I don't claim to have like the perfect plan for that. It's just something I've done. Awesome, right? But,
C1 nowadays is hard. Like C1 is filled with Guardian account that just don't do arena. It's crazy.
Right. So I was lucky enough. You probably saw I pulled. So last time we talked, I had one Nat 5, which was Ophelia that I hadn't built, and I still haven't really built her. Since then, I also pulled one more from a mystical scroll from an event. That kind of like blew me away. I didn't even think, I don't know, because my first Ophelia I got off a legendary scroll, and I guess it never really occurred to me, oh, these mystical scrolls can sometimes give you Nat 5s. But yeah, I got a Praha, which was just like an insane pull that I haven't even awoken her yet. But
you instantly boost your arena defense by 50%.
That's what I'm hoping. But even then, I still need to get Necro runes, and I still can't farm Necro efficiently. So I mean, I'm kind of
she just need to be there, and it's enough. Like, in my opinion, arena defense is all mind game. It's never a rune game, because when they hit you in rush hours, they must win. So they come in, they have something that they're gonna shut you down no matter what you put there. So they will win. So as long as they don't touch you, you win. So the fact that you have Praha there
I think you're right. I think you're right about that. And
I'm not gonna hit you and take a chance, right? No.
Yeah, I've even thought about, early on, just setting up an arena defense that doesn't even have runes on it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because
you're gonna lose early anyway, you might as well just try to discourage a hit.
Yeah, they're gonna think so much about it. They go in and be like, oh, fuck me, I wasted 5 minutes here.
Yeah. So PvP is still tough, but the gears are starting to turn in my head for that, right? That's kind of what I'm moving to slowly.
All right, you guys are looking at this here. I'm watching every pack. It's all 0/3. This is not well at all. Remaining chance 10. See? People think you play to win, but like, all these packs are still here.
Thank you, actually. Thank you for showing that.
Yeah, everything is like 0/3. He don't even buy the daily pack 1.
Yeah, it gets... I mean, it's the frustrating thing that you actually can't prove how much you have or haven't spent.
You can.
And so I kind of went through and showed and kind of proved, okay, look, here's where I got the 22 Devilmon from, right? I could do that, but it's harder to address other arguments because there's no like in-game like receipt. I'm not just gonna like show people my credit card statement, whatever. All right.
Let's pull that shiner, shall we?
Please do. Yeah.
All right. By the way, you want to talk about your random island management thing? What's the deal with island management? What the hell? Like, what do you mean?
I mean, it's more a fun thing than anything else. But I think
first lightning. First lightning, bro. Okay, never mind. Like Kung Fu girl. Yikes.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
Second
So,
lightning, man. Sorry.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh my god, blue Trevor feels bad, man.
Oh, damn it. Frankly, I'm impressed.
Okay, keep going.
So yeah, basically the way my base is set up is to keep all the monsters off of my shit.
Okay.
Really simple, right? Because there's nothing more annoying than having monsters run over a building and then you try to click the building and it doesn't register because you're clicking the monster. So basically I have a little monster pen, and what you do is you fill up all the tiles around the summoning circles.
Oh.
And when you summon a monster, it'll go to the nearest open tile. So what you can do is you can force it to always be beyond a barrier. That's the way I have that little island set up. Is all I try to place all my flyers so they can't fly over shit, and then everything else just gets teleported outside the barrier when I summon it.
Oh, that's true. But oh yeah, sorry man. 2 lightning, but yellow Kung Fu girl and blue Trevor.
All right.
Feels
Well, thank you
bad.
for trying. Realistically, I only had 10 stones.
Realistically, you should have no lightning. That was 2.
Hey, yeah, it's something. It's something. What yellow Kung Fu girl? I guess I could use her to fuse
John.
either John or Panda. I probably won't fuse Panda.
I think blue Nailstone Fighter is really good in Necro if you want to, since you have 3 hit continuous damage, 2 hit defense break, and 2 hit default attack. That's self buff, which is nice. So I think it's pretty legit.
Yeah, huh? I never thought about that. Yeah.
Leader skill for dungeon, attack leader skill for dungeon as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So dots and defense break in 1 unit. Yeah,
definitely. Well, it's definitely something to consider. I'm gonna have to get into Necro before I start pushing Arena more. So yeah, we'll see.
But alright, man, thank you so much for spending the time having a good chat and updating the community with this. I know that even though there are some haters out there be like, oh, blah 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 blah, but I think the majority of people appreciate what you're doing.
Well, and I've gotten literally hundreds of messages, and that's why I wanted to do another video with you, is because people are clearly interested, and
they love it, man.
And I'm hoping, in the future, I'm hoping to stream or make some of my own videos eventually. I'm not positive exactly how I'm going to do that yet, but I might start like a GoFundMe account or something to get some equipment, and maybe and I think one of my talents perhaps could be just like helping people, other people's accounts, kind of helping them play the hand they have, whatever they've been given, kind of helping be creative.
Definitely, man. This is a fresh perspective in this game. Not just like usual, like, oh, just make Bernard, Shannon, and whatever, But it's fresh, and people appreciate that. And even like mid-game-ish people, or people who lost interest in the game, they told me that they watch it, then they get inspired again because, oh, this guy can do it so fast, so easily, and maybe I can do it too.
That's been the most motivating thing for me to read, actually, is I've many messages from people who've actually returned to the game because they kind of saw my crazy Lulu idea, and they saw like, oh wow, this game's like more flexible than I thought. I can be creative, and I think that can only be a good thing. If it renews interest in the game. So yeah, so we'll see.
All right, guys.
Thanks a ton for your time, Sean. All right.
No problem, man. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And big shout out to Steve. If you see him in the future on Twitch, YouTube, definitely drop him a hi, follow, subscribe, whatever it is, and support this kind of off-meta progression that is actually fast and good. So it brings more creativity and freshness in the game, And I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay? Thank you so much, Steve.
Bye.